Globalization has been the driving force behind our economy for decades, but now we're witnessing a shift towards localization. The pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains, with empty shelves and production halts sparking a rethink. Countries are no longer willing to rely solely on distant suppliers. The US is investing heavily in local manufacturing, especially in tech sectors like semiconductors, while Mexico and India are becoming key players as companies nearshore production. But it's not all good news. While jobs return to the West, consumers may face higher prices. The question remains, can this new, localized model keep our economy stable without sacrificing affordability? For decades, the world embraced globalization, cheaper goods, interconnected supply chains, and booming trade. But now something's changing. From trade wars to pandemics, countries are bringing production back home. Is globalization dying? Are we entering the era of localization? Let's dive in. Globalization was the unstoppable trend of the late 20th century. Companies chased cheap labor, China became the world's factory, and consumers enjoyed ultra-low prices. But then, the cracks started showing. First came the 2008 financial crisis, then Trump's trade wars, then COVID. Suddenly, relying on distant suppliers didn't seem so smart. COVID exposed how fragile global supply chains are. One lockdown in China, and suddenly cars couldn't be built. Businesses realized, maybe we need to make things closer to home. Trade wars and sanctions made countries rethink dependence on rivals. The US is pushing friendshoring, moving factories to allies like Mexico and India. Governments are now paying companies to produce locally. The US CHIPS Act lured semiconductor factories back. Europe is doing the same for electric vehicles. Jobs are returning to the US and Europe. Solar panels, chips, and EVs are being made domestically again. Nearshoring is booming. Mexico's exports to the US hit record highs as companies leave China. Less reliance on China means safer supply chains for critical tech like semiconductors and rare earth metals. China's era as the world's factory may be fading. Foreign investment is dropping as companies diversify. Local production often means higher costs. That iPhone or TV might get pricier if it's not made in China. Localization could mean less efficiency, slower innovation, and weaker global trade. Historically, a driver of prosperity. So, is globalization dead? Not exactly, but it's changing. We're moving from hyper-globalization to smart globalization. Strategic sectors, chips, defense, will be local. Non-critical goods, toys, clothes, stay global. Regional hubs, Mexico for US, Eastern Europe for EU, replace China-only supply chains. Globalization isn't disappearing, it's evolving. The future is localized supply chains for critical goods, but global trade for the rest. The big question, will this new model keep prices low and economies stable? Or are we headed for a more fragmented, expensive world? Which do you prefer, globalization or localization? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and let us know what economic trend we should explore next.